Managers play a key role in any organization, and differences in management, both across and within firms, have been shown to explain differences in productivity. But to a large extent, the mechanics of this relationship have remained a black box. What exactly distinguishes good managers from bad ones, and how do they contribute to a firm's performance? This paper unpacks these questions using extensive internal data from a multi-billion-euro multinational firm. With data on more than 200,000 workers and 30,000 managers over the span of 10 years in 100 countries, the author explores how managerial skill affects one particularly important task: the efficient allocation of resources. Do good managers do a better job of matching the right worker to the right job? To start, she identifies good managers as those who were promoted at a relatively young age. Personnel records show that in this firm, the majority of workers who ultimately progress to being a manager do so after turning 30, so workers in this group are labeled high flyers. The idea is that the speed at which a worker climbs the corporate ladder can be seen as a holistic metric of their performance, and, indeed, high flyer status is positively correlated with other measures such as future salary growth and performance ratings. So, how does having a high flyer manager affect a worker's career progression? The paper estimates these causal effects by leveraging managerial rotations between teams. As part of the firm's corporate strategy, managers are periodically reassigned to give them exposure to different teams and activities and thereby broaden their managerial skills. Anecdotal and empirical evidence indicate that the timing and incidence of these rotations are not related to a team's prior performance. So to estimate the causal impact of gaining a high flyer manager, the author compares the trajectory of two groups: workers who happen to transition from a low flyer to a high flyer manager versus those who transition from one low flyer manager to another. This comparison nets out the effect of the transition itself, and to estimate long-run effects, the analysis focuses on the first manager transition that a worker experiences and follows their career progression up to 10 years after. And the results show that gaining a good manager leads to significant worker reallocation to different jobs inside the firm. Consider the effect on lateral moves. These are horizontal transfers that move workers from one group to another. This figure shows how the number of lateral moves compares for workers transitioning from a low to a high flyer manager relative to those transitioning from one low flyer manager to another. In the 3 years preceding the transition, the outcomes for both groups are statistically indistinguishable, but post-transition there is a clear divergence. By 28 quarters after the transition, workers who gained a high flyer manager are 30% more likely to have undergone a lateral move. The same pattern arises when looking at vertical transfers or promotions. Here as well, high flyer managers cause higher job reallocation among the workers they supervise. These transitions also improve a worker's long-run pay progression. By 7 years after the transition, those who gained a high flyer manager have a salary that is 30% higher relative to those who transitioned from one low flyer manager to another. This is a substantial gap in overall pay. A 30% higher salary corresponds, on average, to the salary increment an entry-level new hire would accumulate over 7 years of employment. Notably, estimates indicate that 62% of this salary increase can be attributed to the effect of high flyer managers on lateral, not vertical transfers. This suggests that an important part of what sets good managers apart is their ability to spot workers' particular aptitudes and to spur them to a higher rate of job changes, which leads them to find positions that are better matched to their skills. Consistent with this, good managers boost worker performance. Sales performance increases by 27% up to 4 years after gaining a high flyer manager, and the positive effects of a good manager apply regardless of a worker's baseline performance. Both over- and underperformers experience a higher rate of job transfers and an improvement in their career progression after transitioning to a high flyer manager, and there is no significant effect on worker exits from the firm. So, good managers aren't kicking out low-performing workers. Rather, for both over- and underperformers, they facilitate the discovery of the right transfer for the right worker. If gaining a good manager is beneficial, does losing one have the opposite effect? These figures show the answer is no. There is no differential impact of losing a high flyer manager, which indicates there are long-term benefits of a one-time exposure to a good manager that persist even after a subsequent downgrade in manager quality. Finally, these dynamics appear to have aggregate effects. These figures derive from a subsample of the data and show that factories whose white-collar workers had more past exposure to high flyer managers are more productive as a whole. Output per worker is higher, and cost per output is lower. Taking the price level as given, this implies that high flyers increase establishment-level profits. Thus, this paper argues that good managers achieve a more productive workforce by creating better matches between workers and jobs within the firm. These impacts are long-lasting and lead to gains in both individual-level performance and establishment-level productivity. Going forward, this leaves many interesting questions, including what precise skills are involved in this matching, and whether they are innate or can be taught. To read more on this topic, you can check out the paper's references to other related work. This includes research on job mobility, the role of managers, and the costs of misallocation.